We're going to harness this Cancer new moon energy with restorative yoga today. So for restorative yoga, you don't need anything unless you want to. I love all the props, so use what you have. I'm going to use a bolster, a block, and a blanket. I might use them, I might not. I just like to have them almost like a sense of comfort for this practice. So anything that makes you feel really grounded, really good, I'm going to recommend that you have. So for a bolster, you can always use a pillow. For a block, you could use something that's similar to a block, like a really sturdy book. And then a blanket, of course, any kind of blanket that you have will work for this. So if you've never practiced a restorative before, I don't do a lot of this in my Patreon, but restorative is really good for just grounding and letting go. We don't do a lot here. We really work within and we breathe out. That's the whole purpose of this. We do about 5 to 7 poses total. We may do a little more, we may do a little less, but that's typically what restorative yoga is. Minimal postures, long holds, slow breath. So set yourself up for success and anything that you might need for this. I am going to just start kind of upright and relaxed. So block can be anywhere that you want it to be. You can lay flat, you can sit up for this. I'm gonna do kind of a reclined sit-up situation. So I'm not gonna be all the way down. I'm gonna use this as a little bit of a back support as I lay down. And the whole goal of restorative is to feel comfortable, to get comfy and to settle in. And so as you do that, just lay in a place that works for you. If you want to stretch your arms, your legs, you can. And not rushing this part, this first piece of practice, the most vital part of your practice. And this is your anchor, and this sets the pace for the rest of your journey and movement today. Maybe turning on your internal radar, the part of your brain that can kind of scan the rest of your body, just to notice and to feel. Maybe noticing how your breath is moving, if it wants to change. And maybe it just starts to kind of scan its way down, so from your head down through your shoulders, down your arms, torso, and landing at your hips. And all the way down through both of your legs, all the way to your feet and your toes. And just grasping a better understanding of where your body is showing up today for your practice. And then based on whatever this radar picked up on, if there were aches or pains or emotional ache or pain, maybe we set an intention. That could be to release this feeling. That could be to breathe in a new feeling, maybe a little bit of both. I encourage you just to breathe in a way that feels like you're getting the most oxygen. So sometimes if we need to take a few deep sighs, a few clearing breaths, let that happen at any point of your practice. But when you're not doing that, maybe try to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, but really emphasizing exhaling every last little bit of air out, almost to where you can find a little pause right before you breathe back in. Find your breath all the way to its fullest without strain. Another little pause again right before you exhale. And these pauses are just milliseconds, or just a moment to notice the suspension of breath in and breath out. And softly begin to let your knees journey over to the right. Your knees don't have to stay together for this. They might separate a little bit. Your head can softly turn to the left. And still connecting with your breath slowly. Let gravity hold on to you. And the practice of restorative yoga is to let go. So releasing tension, strain, resistance. And the mind might wander for a little bit, and that's okay. But as long as you can pull back in, anchor to your intention, to your breath, thoughts can go as many ways as they want to. The practice is always just reeling it back in slowly, without judgment, because that's exactly what our brains were designed to do, to think, to keep us out of danger. And as you start to switch sides, just take it slow, bring your knees up and then over to left side with compassion that maybe your nervous system doesn't know that you're not in danger right now. Your mind might and your heart might, but maybe your nerves and your cell beings are still used to this, not used to this idea of being at peace, being calm, being safe. And so as we anchor back into breath, helping our vagus nerve slow and ease, just see if you can land, maybe just for a moment. Doesn't have to be for very long. Breath all the way in and all the way out. And if you're laying flat, you're welcome to opt and change this posture. So butterfly might feel good if you're sitting upright slightly. Happy baby might feel better if you're laying all the way down, but any hip opener that works for you right here. And then make this easy for you. There is no need to suffer through the posture. So where can your feet land that make this feel better? And that's okay if that takes a little bit of wiggling to find. A reminder to find the little pauses in between your breaths. And can you let go into this posture, to breathe with it, to feel into it? And just be here for 3 more rounds of breath. You may need just to take a moment for hips to close, maybe like tent knees or reclined in reverse butterfly with knees together, feet wide. And if you do, just land there, maybe knees to chest, feel a little bit better for you. This transition will take us up slowly. You can rock up, you can roll to a side to get there. As we land towards child's pose. Now, puppy pose or antahata, you can land into melting heart pose. And so I love my blanket for this. This is going to give me a little bit more knee support and knee cushion. This is all just a really slow process. Because why do we feel the need to rush? Sometimes a bolster between legs might feel good. You might just want to do this freely and rest and land. So option for child's pose, of course, you can just be rest down. Or maybe you want something a little more active, where you're up and your heart gets a little more space. So melting heart pose is very similar to puppy pose. Hands are going to be wide and you're going to take them kind of like a V to then press head back. Now, it may be that just your chin or your forehead rests. Chin down, chest down is going to be a little bit deeper. So hips stay really, really high for this. And it's really up to you to what feels good. I like a little bit of this kind of mixture of where my hips are going to stay higher because I have a bolster or a pillow underneath my hips. Then I'm just going to let my head sink towards a block. This is my favorite version of child's pose because I really don't have to do anything here. Especially if you're hypermobile, sometimes child's pose can just feel like you're collapsing down on yourself. So give yourself the tools and the slowness to explore what does work for you right here. Do your knees want to go wider? Do they want to touch together? And then what parts of you are holding on to tension still? Is it the back side of your neck? Is it between your shoulder blades, maybe down through feet and hands? This internal radar is still on, and we're still noticing all that is to notice. While reconnecting with breath and intention. If you're in a place where your elbows can stay down, maybe you flip your hands to the back of your head, getting a little stretch to the back of your triceps. You're welcome to. Land here for 3 to 5 more of your own breaths. If that means you need to transition out for those remainder breaths, maybe you need a moment just to sit upright and let the blood flow kind of meander its way back through the rest of your body. You can. And so the next posture we slowly work our way into is left side pigeon. You can lay down for this and take your left ankle to right knee, or if you want to be in a half or a double pigeon, that works too. So setting myself up here, I'm going to take my right knee to my blanket. My left knee is going to slide forward. And I'm just going to take this really, really slow. So as I lower down, if my left tip doesn't want to hit the ground, maybe that's where you take a blanket or a pillow or bolster too. You don't have to just lay flat on the earth for this. Then I like to take something else, another bolster, another pillow, whatever you have here, towards the right side of me. So if my left knee is active, take it over to right side. And that's going to give me a little more cushion to lay down towards. If you need to stay with your hip open, more like swan pose, feel free to keep your hip open, toes pointed out, whereas pigeon more so rolls your hip over and under. Think about hips being squared for pigeon and then hips being open for swan pose. And either way works. Same this if you're laying down for this or in double pigeon. And just meeting yourself with all the breaths that you need. And you don't have to go into the fullest expression for this. And I encourage you not to. And if you know that you could go more, that's always good than knowing that you can't go anymore. And so reserving space and energy. Let the focus mainly be on the same slowness of breath, encouraging The patience and the pause between in and out. Mindfulness with intention, moving in, moving out. And then you can adjust as much or as little as your body needs. Again, make this pose easy for you. There's no need to force or to make this any harder than it needs to be. And I think the thing I love most about restorative is that everyone's bodies in a class is going to look very different. So we can all be in the same pose, but we're going to end up somewhere very different from one body to the next. So I know that we're an online platform here, but I trust that you can find the intuition to land in a way that works for you. So if you want to be upright, if you want to be down, if you want to change your version of pigeon right here, you're totally welcome to. We've got about 4 more breaths, so let this side marinate a little longer. And sometimes the last few breaths are just needed to take the slow transition out to prepare for the other side. Right side landing when you're ready. Maybe catching your breath even on this side for the first few rounds, because it will feel a little or a lot different. This idea of clearing or cleansing on this side might feel good. And release where you can to your fullest. About 3 to 5 more breaths from here. The same patience or knowing of what's needed for your body right here. And lastly, we'll set up for supported fish pose, which will guide us towards our savasana. So if you have a block or a book, pillow, or bolster, I encourage you to use it here and kind of take it across your body like a T. So the block is going to go underneath your bolster if you have the setup. If you don't, you can just use pillow, bolster, or block by itself. It's just going to open up your heart space. I'm going to use blanket as just a resting spot for my hips. As we stay here for some time, I want you to feel fully supported. And so if you need a second bolster or block for your head, let yourself feel supported. And rest. Same amount of compassion that you've given yourself in every pose, you can take it here. If it feels good to continue to anchor into the breath the way that you have been, you can, or maybe you just let that idea go. Let any idea go and just be. If your body needs to reposition and maybe land in full stillness, or if you want to just even move the block or the bolster, you can and lay flat for true Savasana style. Or be here for as long as you need to, as long as you want to. However you choose to enjoy the rest of your rest here, I thank you for sharing practice with me. Namaste.